No, because the congregation gonna see what you doing to these women in this church.
What am I doing?
You are taking them away. Yes, you are.
And have I done no, because I have not done nothing. I am the pastor. I'm the pastor of the church, and if I can't do that.
They weren't exposed by tabloids. They were exposed by their own wives. One pastor got outed at a wedding by the very woman he was secretly sleeping with. Another, his ex-wife accused him of manipulating women and misusing church funds, and she brought receipts. From viral side chick showdowns to sex scandals that hit courtrooms, these are the wildest exposés from inside the bedroom, not the pews. Let's start with the pastors who got exposed not by enemies, but by the women who knew everything. Number 10. Jamal Bryant. Pastor Jamal Harrison Bryant has been called out for not one, but multiple sexual allegations. He is the senior pastor of the New Birth Missionary Baptist Church in Stonecrest, DeKalb County, Georgia. 53-year-old Bryant, who once announced intentions to run for U.S. Congress, is a celebrity pastor famous for his relationship with Giselle, his first wife. The two married in 2002 and had 3 children before their divorce in 2009.
Who else could help lead a church through scars and pain if you've never done so yourself? There's a complete distinction between apathy and empathy.
In 2019, they appeared to rekindle their relationship, but it didn't take long before the candle burnt out. Online commentators have speculated that this was to give Giselle an interesting storyline for her reality TV show. Giselle appeared on The Real Housewives of Potomac around that time. By 2024, Jamal had gotten married to his new wife, Dr. Carrie Turner, but scandals regarding his past marriage continued to come to the fore. Some have drawn comparisons between the appearance of his former and present wives. However, Bryant himself appeared on the Hardly Initiated podcast, where he admitted that his first marriage ended because he cheated.
I want to say I am divorced because I cheated. I divorced because of my infidelity, not because of irreconcilable differences, but because I broke that covenant.
So I had to go through a healing process for myself on what is it that was in me that would go outside of the bounds of my covenant, my agreement, and to risk my family for somebody I never wanted to be with, he said. But while he's taken responsibility for the collapse of that marriage, the current one is going through turbulent times with allegations that he's involved with another mistress. LA-based masseuse Latoya Shawnee has accused the pastor of failing to take responsibility for a child they had together. He has not admitted or denied this fresh allegation, but he's asked his lovers to keep praying for him because he needs it. He also hinted at a promiscuous past, stating that his first attempt at monogamy was marriage and acknowledging struggling before learning commitment. But Jamal's drama is just the warm-up because the next pastor got exposed mid-service, live, by his own mistress. Number 9. Ricky Scott. The senior pastor of the East St. Peter's Missionary Baptist Church in Abbeville, Mississippi, Ricky Scott, was at the center of a damaging scandal when one of the church's services was interrupted by his mistress, Yolanda Beavers. But it gets worse. Beavers wasn't the only one the pastor was involved with. He allegedly maintained relationships with multiple women, some of them members of his church. In January 2024, the pastor's secrets were blown into the open when Beavers confronted the pastor, his wife, and the entire congregation. It ended up being a struggle between Ricky Scott's wife and Miss Beavers, all while the pastor watched from the pulpit. Members of the congregation intervened, eventually leading Beavers out of the church. Surprisingly, Pastor Scott's wife did not look shocked at the revelations or the altercation that followed. She climbed on the pulpit beside her husband and encouraged the members to stand with the minister. She also enjoined them to stop listening to their hearts telling them the pastor is supposed to be an example or perfect.
God said all have fallen short. Yeah. All have fallen short of His glory. Nobody is perfect.
We were not expecting those statements, but we'll let you, our viewers, be the judge. As for the church members, they seem to have bought the excuse and even cheered the pastor and his wife at the end of the speech. However, the deacon board thought differently. After their deliberations, they decided to terminate his appointment as their pastor. Another video showed when the police arrived to escort him out of the church, but the pastor did not take the development well.
No, because I have not done nothing. I am the pastor. I'm the pastor of the church, and if they can't do that, I haven't done it.
He has since taken to Facebook, sharing quotes and comparing his situation to the scandals that have rocked other pastors. He also changed his title from pastor to digital creator. Meanwhile, the alleged mistress granted another pastor an interview where she stated that her intention was not to disrupt the church. She said she waited for the service to end and that they were just having a meeting that had also ended. She added that she was pregnant, but the child didn't belong to the pastor, even though Facebook posts by Yolanda and the pastor suggest otherwise. And if you thought that was explosive, wait until 3 different women go public against the next pastor, all at once. Number 8. Pastor Lovey Elias.
Or confusion. I know I have fallen short of the standard I hold myself to and the trust you have given me. For that, I am truly sorry.
Pastor Lovey Longomba. Elias is an American pastor with Kenyan and Congolese ancestry. Born in 1986, he is also a songwriter and music producer. He started the Revelation Church of Jesus Christ, Los Angeles, California, in 2013 and has grown the church with more than 1,000 members. The pastor started life as a rapper when he was known by his stage name, Lovey Longomba, but he's currently a spiritual leader to musicians and actors. He is well known online, streaming some of his church services on Facebook and YouTube. Ironically, these were the same platforms where his alleged impropriety was brought to light. As of early 2025, 3 women posted 3 separate videos accusing the pastor of sexual, emotional, and financial exploitation.
I think Lovey is still salvageable. I pray he is. Not even for the sake of my friendship, for the sake of his influence, because he has one.
One of them, named Gigi Rodriguez, said her relationship with Pastor Lovey lasted for 3 years. Rodriguez, who said she was sharing the story to warn others, alleged that the minister made him believe they would get married while being involved with another woman. 2 other women, Sabrina Schuyler and Ashley, have also shared similar accusations.
When we first started our relationship, there was not a woman in the picture. He mentioned he was single. He did not claim this person. As far as I know, I've never seen any photos of them together on his profile.
Lovey's wife, Maggie Elias, was a source of online controversy for many years. Church members and online followers of the pastor thought it was strange for his wife to be absent from church activities. Many alleged that she was being kept away from the ministry to protect her husband's secrets, and statements from the wife pointed to the same. According to sources closer to the couple, Maggie Elias believes she was compelled to protect the ministry despite his husband's controlling behaviors and intimidation. She added that the church leadership was informed of happenings, but they did nothing to help and instead urged her to remain patient. Maggie Elias said she kept quiet for so long for fear of being called a liar. Some voice notes that made their way online have been used to support these claims, and more former members have also corroborated the same stories. But what happens when the scandal goes beyond cheating and ends up in court? This next case shocked an entire state. Number 7. Pastor Terry Hornbuckle.
And those that we were connected to, our life just collapsed. It imploded, if you will, all based on the choice and decision of just one person. And that one person was my now ex-husband.
Pastor Terry Hornbuckle is the founder and former senior pastor of the Victory Temple Bible Church in Arlington, Texas. He started the church in 1986 with only 15 members and grew the congregation considerably as the years passed. In 1992, they rebranded the church, renaming it the Agape Christian Fellowship, and 7 years later, they had expanded and grown in numbers. So the church moved to a $3 million structure in Arlington. Hornbuckle earned multiple degrees, 2 of them a Bachelor of Science in Pre-Law from the University of Texas and Oral Roberts University School of Law. You'd expect a man who has been exposed to judicial studies and is supposed to be a man of God to be of the best behavior, but Pastor Terry Hornbuckle's actions were completely at odds with what he's supposed to stand for.
Found myself literally awakening one day to the news media that there were these accusations against my ex-husband. He had been accused of sexual assault.
On 22nd August 2006, 3 women came forward with allegations against the pastor. 2 of them, former members of his church, and another woman accused the pastor of taking advantage of them. They alleged that he drugged and raped them. One of the women tested positive for a substance that could cause drowsiness, and both of them said they woke up with him nearby. They added that he gave them gifts and intimidated them into keeping the incident secret. Hornbuckle was arrested and charged in court for the allegations. Prosecutors argued that he used his position to take advantage of the women. After deliberations for close to 34 hours, the jury found him guilty of the offenses and sentenced him to jail. After 15 years in jail, he was deemed a sexually violent predator who could commit the same offense. So, the court committed him to a psychiatric institution. It doesn't stop there, because in Nigeria, one pastor's sex scandal triggered lawsuits, interviews, and leaked photos across 3 countries. Number 6. Apostle Joshua Suleiman.
My name is Dr. Lizzie Johnson Suleiman, the wife of Apostle Johnson Suleiman. But at this point, for the purpose of clarity, I will have to speak.
Not many pastors have been rocked with controversies like Nigerian televangelist Apostle Joshua Suleiman. As the senior pastor and general overseer of Omega Fire Ministries International, the pastor has been embroiled in various scandals, from allegedly performing fake miracles to threatening the death of his critics. He never seems to have enough. In 2017, the Nigerian media was thrown into a frenzy when Canada-based Nigerian singer Stephanie Otobo accused the pastor of being in a relationship with her for many years. She filed a $5 million lawsuit dated April 19, 2017, alleging breach of trust, breach of fiduciary relations, breach of contract, negligence, defamation, poisoning, intentional and negligent infliction of emotional stress, forcible confinement, multiple instances of battery, false imprisonment, fraud, assaults, sexual assaults, harassments, and malicious prosecution.
Actually puts me really down, you know? And he can't do more juju and everything. This not be pastor. Suleiman not be pastor. Suleiman not be pastor.
The lawsuit also demanded a restraining order barring the pastor from contacting or going close to her. She said they met in Canada in 2015 when Otobo needed spiritual guidance, and that the pastor had taken advantage of the situation to groom her. Otobo added that she got pregnant with Suleiman's baby, but was given a herbal concoction that made her lose the pregnancy.
This is a legal right of breach of promise of marriage. It is not a blackmail. And we are petitioning.
After filing the lawsuit, Otobo granted interviews where she repeated some of the things alleged in the suit, including how Suleiman loved unconventional sexual practices that involved a third party in Nigeria, Italy, and the United States. The pastor, who used to work as an assistant pastor in Lagos, Nigeria, denied the allegations, and the two went on for many weeks, with Suleiman threatening a lawsuit of his own. However, their online feud was renewed in 2022 when Miss Otobo came forward with fresh details about their alleged escapades. She shared explicit photos of the pastor and screenshots allegedly taken from a video between the two. She further challenged Suleiman to show the public parts of his body so people can see if they matched her descriptions.
Because I can talk, I have to talk. You know, how many people has he done this to and got away with? He's a pastor, he's supposed to be a man of God. Apostle Johnson Suleiman.
However, the pastor continued to discard the accusations. He said the fresh mentions of his name were because he criticized the Nigerian government in one of his sermons.
Picture of my husband in my heart. Of course, you can see that the pictures released are photoshopped. By the grace of God.
That was messy, but this next one, his own wife dropped the bombshell at another woman's wedding. Number 5. Pastor Chris Hill. On the 26th of September, 2014, Pastor Hill and his wife, Joy Hill, attended the wedding ceremony of a church worker named Shernay. She was tying the knot with her longtime best friend, Arthur McFarlane III. As the senior pastor of the Potter's House Church of Denver, Pastor Hill was there to give the new couple their blessings, alongside his wife. However, things took a dramatic turn when, some months later, Joy Hill exposed his extramarital affairs with a married church member. The alleged mistress was none other than Shernay, the congregant who recently got married. Pastor Chris Hill, who is a spiritual son and protege of Bishop T.D. Jakes, was accused by his wife of soiling their marriage with another married woman. According to her, she hired a private investigator when she started suspecting the pastor of cheating. She said her PI followed Pastor Hill and found that he was having an affair with a woman who turned out to be his goddaughter, Shernay. She confronted the pastor, who called the police on her. After the incident, she sent text messages to the church members and leaders, informing them that she was leaving. FYI, pastor called the police on me tonight because I yelled at him asking him to leave the house tonight and he wouldn't. I was upset because he won't stop having an affair with Shernay, and I can't live like this anymore. They've been having an affair for several months, and he finally admitted it yesterday, after I hired a private investigator to have them followed over the past 6 weeks. The text messages read, "Both couples separated after the scandal, and Pastor Chris resigned from his post. However, his mentor, Bishop T.D. Jakes, intervened and reinstated him 3 months after the uproar. And while that pastor got caught in the pews, the next one faced a divorce case that rocked an entire ministry and had his own church erasing his wife." Number 4. Pastor Chris Oyakhilome. Pastor Chris Oyakhilome is a Nigerian pastor, televangelist, and author who runs the Love World Incorporated. He's also the founder and senior pastor of Christ Embassy, a huge church ministry with presence in multiple countries. He was born in Edo State, Nigeria, in 1963 as one of 7 children. Chris has an architecture degree from Bendel State University, but he was involved in other exploits as an undergraduate. He began preaching in school and later founded a youth fellowship called Youth for Christ. It later became one of the biggest ministries on campus, with the school's vice chancellor attending one of their services. While he built on this achievement and made a name for himself as a pastor, Pastor Chris Oyakhilome has been in the spotlight for many controversies. In 2014, his then-wife, Pastor Ebodaga, with whom he had 2 children, exposed the pastor's sexual misconduct. It started when church members noticed the absence of the senior pastor's wife, who used to lead services in their United Kingdom branches. This went on for a long time, and the ministry started taking down her pictures and name from their website. Speculations were already flying around on social media, with some noting that the geographical distance between them could be playing a part. However, in April 2014, Anita filed for divorce from the pastor, accusing him of adultery and unreasonable behavior. She highlighted several allegations against the pastor in a divorce case filed in London, but the specific details were not made public.
I have too many questions. Thank God I had so many questions. All mommy could do was cry. And I was so down, I couldn't call her for a very long time. It was simply because I don't want her to cry any longer. I want to bring mommy smiles.
In his response, Pastor Chris claimed his ex-wife was influenced by friends who wanted to see them part ways. He added that she was ousted from the ministry because she did not share his vision. They finalized the divorce proceedings in 2016. But when the fallout involves underage victims, court settlements, and Senate investigations, things hit a whole new level. Number 3. Pastor Eddie Long.
I cannot get the sound of his voice out of my head. And I cannot forget the smell of his cologne. And I cannot forget the way that he made me cry many nights when I drove in his cars on the way home.
Pastor Eddie Long was the senior pastor of Georgia's New Birth Missionary Baptist Church from 1987 and 2017. He was in the middle of a 2010 scandal when 5 individuals accused him of luring them into sexual relationships. They were Maurice Robinson, Anthony Flagg, Jamal Paris, Spencer Legrand, and Santino Kemp.
Jamal Paris says he's now haunted by a father figure, Bishop Eddie Long, pastor of New Birth Missionary Baptist, one of America's most powerful megachurches.
They alleged that the pastor used his position as the pastor to manipulate the individuals, who were underage at the time. He allegedly sponsored their trips abroad and bought them gifts. His response was a statement that read, "I have devoted my life to helping others, and these false allegations hurt me deeply." The lawsuits were eventually settled out of court on undisclosed terms.
Not able to take enough showers to wipe the smell of him off of my body. That's not a father. That's a predator.
Eddie Long had also been accused of financial mismanagement. It was reported in 2005 that the pastor received over $3 million through his nonprofit charity, while he contested that the money came from royalties, donations, and income from speaking at events. He was a subject of another investigation. The United States Senate Committee on Finance investigated him and other pastors, which led to a significant drop in donations and his salary.
Portrayed myself as a perfect man, but I am not the man that's being portrayed on the television.
You'd think it couldn't get more uncomfortable than that, until one pastor groped a pop star on live TV at Aretha Franklin's funeral. Number 2. Bishop Charles H. Ellis. Bishop Ellis is not new to scandals. In 2018, he came under intense scrutiny during the funeral of American singer Aretha Franklin. 25-year-old singer Ariana Grande had just performed a rendition of the late songwriter's song when Bishop Ellis was seen touching her inappropriately while also making rude remarks about her name. Ellis hugged Ariana and led her by the waist to the microphone. Then, he could be seen placing his hands around Ariana's chest with his fingers in the wrong place. The young singer was uncomfortable throughout the interaction, and many people called the bishop out for his disrespectful behavior, but Ellis has done much more than grope a woman on stage.
I have to brush up. My 28-year-old daughter tells me, "Dad, you are old at 60. When I saw Ariana Grande on the program, I thought that was a new something at Taco Bell.
Born July 8, 1958, Bishop Charles H. Ellis III is an American Apostolic Pentecostal pastor who used to preside over the Pentecostal assemblies of the world. That was before he took over from his father at the Greater Grace Temple megachurch in Detroit, Michigan. In July 2025, a former member of Ellis's church known as Melody Walker posted a series of TikTok videos where she alleged an affair with the pastor between 2002 and 2018. She said the affair began when she was only 22 years old, while the pastor was 47.
So this is over off and on since 2002, really to like 2018. So I have lots of things.
The woman described the experience as painful, adding that the pastor exploited her when she was broke and weak. "I felt like he was my friend, but at the same time, he exploited my brokenness and my weakness and my need for support and to have a friend. He didn't have to do the things he did in the name of benevolence. He could really just have been a good spiritual father and not made it what it was," she said in one of her videos.
Of course, he wanted to keep things private, so that's that. But I do have bank statements. Like, he put his name on my account. I don't know if that helps you, but you can see that, Charles H. Ellis III.
While Melody's TikTok videos have been deleted, the pastor, who had been married for 37 years, admitted to the affair, but claimed some of the details revealed by the woman were false. "I was recently made aware of social media posts shared by a former member of my congregation with whom I had an inappropriate relationship over 15 years ago," Ellis said. He also added that his bishop addressed the indiscretions and that he went through counseling. And just when you think it couldn't get messier, wait until you hear what Pastor David E. Taylor's own ex-wife revealed. You won't believe it. Number 1. Pastor David E. Taylor. Pastor David E. Taylor is the senior pastor of the Kingdom of God Global Church, also known as Kingdom Family Church in Taylor, Michigan. He's another pastor who isn't new to controversies, especially when it comes to sexual misconduct and lavish spending.
I'm sorry.
Do you show that in your income that you got Louis Vuitton clothing?
No, that's not. That
doesn't show.
Because it don't go there.
The African-American pastor became a viral sensation in 2015 when a video showed him struggling to answer questions regarding his church's finances.
Oh, this is a place that the ministry owns. Well, not own. We're in the process of buying that.
It became public knowledge that he misused the ministry's money to treat himself to designer clothes, luxurious cars, and an expensive lifestyle. But that's not the only thing he's become popular for. His ex-wife, Tabitha Taylor, revealed that the pastor used his position to manipulate women into relationships. According to her, some of Taylor's mistresses were members of the church, and he's alleged to maintain multiple such relationships at the same time. She also added that Taylor got her pregnant before their marriage. Her sentiments have been shared by another former church member, singer Vicky Yohe. Vicky said he lured women using lavish gifts. In 2019, multiple members of his church came forward, accusing the minister of being abusive and running the church improperly. People who were former workers at the church said the pastor and other church leaders engaged in abuse, church mismanagement, manipulation, and misconduct. Chris Sorensen, Bill Hody, and Lisa Hody, former workers, said that workers at the ministry said they were denied basic amenities like food and sleep. Sorensen added that members were forced to bring in members and donations through manipulation, citing how he joined the ministry through one such instance. We all expect pastors to be on their best behavior, but unfortunately, it does not always go as planned. No matter how shocked you are, though, think of it's a good thing that they refuse to be silenced. And as always, we'll bring you all the cases in the Black church community. For you not to miss any of the shocking news and scandals, click the like and subscribe buttons. You'll see more content like this in the next 2 seconds. Click and we'll see you there.